Hi everyone, this is a video on how to use Noodle Tools and the databases to complete your research project. Remember, we're not doing a paper, but we are going to collect articles and we're going to get quotes from those articles and we're going to write note cards and then produce a works cited. So once you learn how to do that, then you will be ready at some point to do a paper or other research project. So when we do research, our primary goal is to answer some question that we have. Okay. And our question for this project is um, information that we're seeking about teen health and wellness issues. Okay. So if you wanted to know about gun violence, you might say, what are the statistics around gun violence? That could be your question. Or what are statistics around teen depression and mental health? Or what are statistics on bullying and cyberbullying, etc. But we're going to be practicing collecting a variety of articles because we're learning how to use these tools. So we do research to inform ourselves about a topic that we're investigating, and we always start with that question. And we don't always know how much research we'll need to do answer that question. As more questions come up while we're doing the research, then we might go in a slightly different direction. So it's important to be able to know how to look at different databases and get different kinds of information. And that's what we're practicing. So databases, which you probably learned in sixth grade, are collections of articles and information that have already been checked and determined to be from good sources. When you search Google, you may get good sources or you may not. It's hard to know, especially when you're just starting out. You don't know which information is accurate and which isn't. The database articles are already vetted, they're already categorized, and we know that there's good information in there. That's why researchers often rely on databases to focus their research and help them find accurate and up-to-date information. So we're going to look at all kinds of information on various teen health and wellness issues that came up when we read Give a Boy a Gun. And we're going to be bouncing around in our topics. Remember, we're not writing a paper. We're looking up articles and we're using Noodle Tools to collect that information. So here are some key links that you're going to need. There's Noodle Tools, which is also available on your Google link. You go up to the waffle and you scroll all the way down and you'll see the man or woman is jumping up and down, very happy because Noodle Tools is so great. And you can click on that. But I gave you the direct link right here on this document. This is the link to Mrs. Jenkins' library electronic database research page. So you can click on that and open that. This is what we're going to be using primarily. And you will be using the teen health and wellness database primarily within that. So that's in here, but I created a separate link for it. So on Ms. Jenkins' page, you would just scroll down to where it says health and science. Okay. All right. We're on Ms. Jenkins' page. Scroll down to health and science, and you're going to see teen health and wellness. You can use any of these resources, but start off and focus on teen health and wellness because there's a lot of really good information there. So let's go back here. Now, what you're going to do, your task will be to find 2 articles on school gun violence, 2 articles on teen depression, mental health, 2 articles on bullying, cyberbullying, 1 each, 2 articles on teen suicide, 2 articles on underage drinking and substance use. Okay. And then on each article, you're going to create a new source in Noodle Tools. You're going to create a note card in Noodle Tools. You're going to choose one piece of data or statistic from that article and enter it into your note card. And then you'll quickly say, this shows, right? You'll put in your what you learned from the quote, and you will write an in-text citation, which I'll show you how to do, okay, for each source. At the end, you will have 10 articles, which will be 10 sources. You'll have one source for each of those articles, and that'll be in your works cited. You'll have 10 note cards, each with a quote and an explanation from each article, as well as the in-text reference for each citation in your sources, okay? So you're going to have 10 note cards with that information, one for each article. It's pretty simple. At the end, we'll export it, and I'll show you how to do that, but not in this video. So let's go over to Noodle Tools. Take a look. So we go to Noodle Tools. You're going to have to log in. If it asks you to update your profile, just put in Northport Middle School and you graduate in 2027. And then once you log in, you can log in with Google. You'll already be logged in on your Chromebook. Okay, now you won't see this. This is from another project that I did with my 8th graders. But when you get to this page, you need to create a project. All right, you're going to create this project. It's like getting a new folder where you're going to put all your information in. Okay. So this part here is like a file cabinet full of folders. So we're going to need to create a folder for this project. So let's go new project. Now you're going to put your title of your project. So put your name, Joe Student, and then Rayo Research. Right? This way you'll be able to identify it easily. Now, this is very important. The citation style you're going to use is MLA. Okay, that's what we use in English class. Science classes often use APA. You have to do this part right because all the citations will automatically be created in MLA style. So if you do one of these two, it will be wrong, and then you'll have to do it over, and you'll be sad, and your life will be ruined. Obviously, I'm kidding, but please pick MLA because it will create a lot of work for you. Okay, so citation style is MLA. Then the citation level. This is also important. You have to pick junior because that's just right for 7 through 12. Starter is elementary. It's a little too basic. Advanced is college. There's more complexity to it. I want you to use junior. Okay, junior. So MLA and junior. And then you click submit. Now we have our file. Okay, so now when we click on this and open it, we are in that file folder. Okay, now what you're going to do, you see no sources here yet because you haven't created any. You have sources and you have note cards. Okay, once you get a source, you're going to get information from the note cards. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do, and we can pause this video and you can start creating it, is to create note cards because you already know that you're going to need 10 note cards. Okay, so let's do this first. New note card. Let's call this note card, let's go over here, school gun violence. Okay, so let's say school gun violence 1. Okay, we're going to do this later. Sorts and tags, don't worry about that. Just put school gun violence 1, right? Or you could just put gun violence 1 if you want to save yourself some typing. Okay, we click save. And there it is. Now we're going to create another note card, and we're going to call it, you guessed it, gun violence 2. Okay, this will organize your note cards before we even get started because we know what we're doing. Then we're going to go over here and see, what do I need next? Well, I need 2 articles on teen depression and mental health. So let's go back to our note cards and let's type teen illness and mental health 1. Save and close. Nope, well, it doesn't let me use the end symbol. Save. Okay. And now you're going to do another one. You guessed it. Teen wellness and mental health 2. Okay. And you're going to have plenty of time to do these cards. Okay. You can actually drag the cards around too. So if you prefer to look at it like this, you can. Okay. However it works best for you. You can stay nice and organized. And then we're going to do 2 more. 2 articles on bullying and cyberbullying, 1 each. Okay. So we go back and we go bullying, save and close. And then the next one will be cyberbullying. Save and close. Okay, I don't know, put these down here because I just want them vertically. You might not want them like that, but for me, that's nice and organized. Now, if you wanted to edit one of these, like you notice here, it says find 2 articles in teen depression and mental health, and you say, oh, I typed this wrong. I want to put depression, so we rename it. All right, teen depression and mental health. I want to rename it, right? Click the little 3 dots. We rename it. Teen depression, mental health. And that's it. Okay. Now we have our cards and we edited the titles. And when we want to go into the titles, we can click on them and go back into them. I'll show you that later. So we're going to go back here and we're going to do teen suicide. Okay. 2 cards on teen suicide. New note card. teen suicide 1, save and close. New note card, teen suicide 2, save and close. Okay, and you can do these while you're watching this video, especially if you weren't in class. Give you time to do that. And then I'm going to do 2 articles on underage drinking substance use, right? So back to Noodle Tools, underage drinking / substance use. 1, close. Okay. And underage drinking substance use. So now we have all our cards. We've created that before we even started research. And I think this is a good idea because it tells you exactly what you're going to need to do in the project. Okay, we created 10 cards. We know we're going to need an article for each of these cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and there are our note cards. Now, what we're going to do is start our research. So we're going to go back here, and you can either click on this directly, or you can go through Ms. Jenkins' page. Okay, so if you go through Ms. Jenkins' page, it's Teen Health and Wellness right there. And you see, if you do it from home, you need the password, NMS. So let's go here, and let's click on our direct link, Teen Health and Wellness. Okay, now I'm home, so I'm going to put in my username and password. You won't need to do this at school if you do it at school, which you will. And I log in. Okay, now I'm logged in to, maybe I'm going to save it. Okay, so now I'm here. Now, what I'm going to do is search in the search box. Okay, so we know our first cards are 2 articles on school gun violence. So we go here, and we're going to type in school gun violence. Or maybe I just want to try gun violence. Or I could try school shootings. Okay, whatever you want to try. You can try all 3 things. Okay, let's start with school gun. Okay, now it's going to give us results, and you have to click on the results. Okay, so you can use any of the articles. Okay, but I want you to get a piece of information from the article. So let's look at it and say, okay, this is good. This has got a lot of good information in here. Okay, so since I know I'm going to use this one, and this is great. This is how easy this is. Okay, so what we need to do is create a citation for this, a source in Noodle Tools. So we click Cite. Okay, now look, it already sees Noodle Tools. Okay, we're going to export it directly to Noodle Tools. Now you could copy and paste this, okay, if you wanted to, and put it in Noodle Tools that way. But what we're going to do is click on that link, and it does it automatically. You see what we did there? We just clicked the word Noodle Tools. This is the proper format. You could copy and paste this, but it's even easier now. It's amazing. You click Noodle Tools, it opens up, and there it is. There's my source. So now you just check on the bottom, and you make sure it's in the right spot. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. I don't know why I didn't move it out of the way. Let's move that over here. And you want to make sure that you are in the right project, okay? Joe Student Rayo Research. That's right. So then we just click Import References. And miracle of miracles, it does it, okay? So now it's already there. So if we go back to Noodle Tools and we go to our sources, amazing. There it is. It's incredible. It's so easy. Okay, remember we typed in yesterday? We had to type in all the information, copy and paste it. There it is. If you did this from Google, you'd have to do it all manually. But because we're using databases, it's this simple. And then you keep going, okay? So let's go back to Teen Health and Wellness. And we need another one on school gun violence, right? So school gun violence. We have to use a different article, okay? And you get another article. But what I want you to do in each of the articles is I want you to get a quote, okay? So this was the one we used last time. And The United States has 90 guns for every 100 citizens. This makes it most heavily armed country on the globe, according to the most recent small arms survey, etc. So this is good data and statistics, okay? Um, and this gives you specific information on guns finding their way into the hands of teens. So let's say this is the information you want to use. And you can use whatever you want, just a good piece of statistic that you learn something from, okay? Copy, right? Or maybe you wanted to use this one, okay? Copy. You just use Control C and you copy this text, okay? Oh, keeps getting the whole thing for me. I'm gonna get rid of that. Copy this, Control C. Now let's go back to Noodle Tools. There's our source. Let's go back to note cards. So we go to the first note card, gun violence 1. Of course, it's taking a long time to load, but there we go. So gun violence 1. And I'm going to open up this note card, right? There it is. Now I have to select the source right here, source. I already entered it. Now do these one at a time so you know which source goes with which article, which quote. So we pick that article, okay? Now we're going to put our quote here. I'm going to put it in quotation marks. Okay. Now you're going to write here, this shows that, and you explain it. You know this from it's like concrete detail, topic sentence. Okay. Concrete detail, commentary, right? This is your commentary. I can even put CM there for you. Now down here for original thinking, I'm just going to ask you to put what we call the in-text citation. And I'll go over this more in class, but basically it's either the author's last name or the first 3 words of the title. So since there is no author, it's simply this: guns and weapons, right? And because of the title, you put it in quotation marks. That's it. So that's a completed note card, okay? And we click save. Now, if you weren't sure what to put, you can just go to your sources and you can go next to it and you click this and it says in-text citation. It tells you what to put. See that? Guns and weapons. So if you weren't sure, you just copy that and you paste it into your note card. Okay, so this is really easy. And this is how you're going to do this. You're going to keep going. So in the end, you're going to have 10 of these sources. And each of these note cards is going to have a different source. It's going to have a different article. So now we go on to gun violence 2. So we go back to our search and let's try school gun violence again. Maybe school violence staying safe. And we're like, oh yeah, we definitely want to use this article. Okay, well, I'm going to cite it and I'm going to export it to Noodle Tools. And then after it's in Noodle Tools, I make sure that it's the right project and I click import. And then it goes to Noodle Tools. Okay, so now it's in Noodle Tools. It's miraculous. I go back to Noodle Tools here and I go to my sources and you'll see it. Okay, so now this new article is going to be listed here. And there it is, school violence staying safe. Okay, again, there's no author there, so we know that our in-text citation we're going to use is school violence. Okay, up to 3 words of the title. So now we're going to go to our note cards and we're going to enter a quote from that article. Okay, here. So we go back to our article and let's say we like this one here. All right. Copy. Back to our note cards. We quote it here. It shows, tell me what you learned. And then here, you're going to put your in-text citation, which we know it was this article, School Violence Staying Safe. Again, there's no author. If there was an author, you just put the author's last name. Like if it was written by someone named Smith, you'd put Smith. But on this one, we know there's no author, and it's the name of the article is School Violence Staying Safe. So we're just going to put quotation marks because it's a title, School Violence. Okay, we click save. And that's how you do this. Okay, it's easy. You're going to have plenty of time to do this. So we've done the first 2 cards. You're going to do the same thing for all these cards. So in the end, you're going to have 10 sources. You're going to have 10 note cards. And each note card, you're going to have the required information. And it tells you that right here. Okay, so between these 2 sheets tells you everything you're supposed to do. And then in the end, I'll show you this video on how to export everything and turn it in for a grade. Okay, well, I hope that teaches everybody what you're supposed to do. You can watch this video as often as you need to, and it'll show you exactly what to do, or if you're working on it at home. And that's it. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys, I guess, on Monday. Okay.